Shelly Conley has always been passionate about words and poetry. She wrote her first poem in middle school, and since then, she has utilized poetry for self-reflection and to inspire others. Recently, the Milwaukee Public Library System appointed her as Milwaukee's new Poet Laureate. She joins us to discuss how she plans to use her platform to uplift others. Shelly, welcome to Black Nouveau.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on being named Poet Laureate. And can you tell us what steps were involved in all of that and how you became Poet Laureate?
Yeah, so what I know now is there were 22 applicants. There was kind of an extensive application process where you had to outline what events you were going to do over the next 2 years. That has to be a total of 5 events. And a series of other questions, your bio, of course, and lots of questions. And so from there, they had a panel, the library, and they narrowed it down to, I think, 8 people maybe, from there to 3 people, and then from there to me. So, and I did have to go in and do a panel interview where I had to do a poem of my own and a poem of someone else's that I enjoyed, and answer a bunch of questions as well at the panel.
And what are your plans for this role?
So my 2 key things I'm trying to really stay rooted in, I won't say trying, that I am staying rooted in, are community and collaboration. So, for example, my first project that I'll be executing in March involves the businesses along Bronzeville, or in Bronzeville along MLK. It involves the community singing poetry when they walk by. I really just want to make poetry available and accessible to all people and have it in places where it's not normally seen. So to bring awareness to it and the power of it. I'm including several local poets in that project, so their work will actually be displayed. So that's my first project, but it's all rooted in community and collaboration. I want to do some stuff with artists of different sorts, both music, visual artists. I want to do stuff with youth as well as the elders. And I really want to try to bring together, I'll say it so it can happen, past poet laureates in some way, whether it's a showcase, whether it's whatever it is, just so that we have a collaboration of our own, because I think we have a lot to offer the world, you know, Milwaukee specifically, maybe the laureate that comes after me. So collaboration and community.
How has poetry changed over the years since, you know, you're a 7-time slam champion? How has poetry changed over that time frame?
I would say the biggest difference, while this sounds kind of strange, is like I come from writing paper, you know, paper and pen writing, and so that has evolved differently now where people, you can just pull out your phone and write, which I do. Reading off the phone, that's all kind of stuff that has evolved with technology. As far as the actual poetry, for me, it's always been a free form of expression. And so I don't necessarily feel like that piece has changed. I think people are a little more free and open to different topics that maybe weren't talked about in the past, just again, as the world changes and things evolve. But it's always been a space of like, I might say something that someone doesn't agree with, but it's my poem, it's my passion, my feelings, and you can't really debate with that. So I think that part hasn't changed, but some of the topics have expanded as the world has changed.
How has poetry inspired you, and how has it helped others? I know that you've done some work through My Sister's Keeper, if you could talk a little bit about that.
So how it's inspired me is I really would say I found my voice through poetry. I have always been a writer, but a private writer. So that made me build my confidence. Getting on the mic finally built confidence, and being surrounded by other amazing poets really just helped me find my voice. And I use it now in the classroom with My Sister's Keeper. We work with middle school and high school girls. We use poetry and writing in every classroom. And it's a way for them to tap into emotions that they have bottled up and that they don't realize are affecting them in their life and their choices, because they think like, oh, it doesn't matter, I've bottled it up. So we tap in and help them open up those feelings and get them out in a positive way.
Will you give us a couple of poems?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Awesome.
Cross-legged, I sit so close to the TV that I smell electricity. My mother stands there, hand on her hips, veins bulging from her neck. She says, "How many times must I tell you to back up from that TV?" This was her song chorus, because of course I never listened. See, the closer I got, the more I felt connected to my favorite characters, which in 1981 meant every Saturday morning I moved to Smurf Village, side by side with Smurfette, long thick ponytails flowing down my back next to her blonde tresses. In 81, my Saturday mornings were filled with my mama's homemade biscuits, the concoctions of Papa Smurf, while Brainy Smurf assured me this burden of wearing glasses just meant I was smarter than the average. Blue skin gave this illusion that black and white were irrelevant. In 81, I didn't know that in the real world our skin color mattered and brown was not in season. I was naive to race relations and subliminal segregation in our projects. Untried ears couldn't hear the screams of oppressed mothers from welfare lines. See, in 81, if you were blue in the real world, it wasn't cute like those little Smurfs more, a metaphor for sadness, financial depression, suffocation, tiring fights against European colonists. It was post four little girls being blown to shreds while praising their God, post-assassination of Malcolm and Martin, pre-Rodney King, pre-James Byrd, pre-Sean Bell. See, in 81, while I watched cartoons and ate my mama's homemade biscuits, Rick James sang Super Freak and Michael Jackson rocked with you. An Alabama man was being preyed on for dinner, rocking in a tree like a faulty Christmas decoration. See, Michael Donald was only 19, body hanging heavy like a paraplegic, his legs slightly bent, his neck slit, his head tilted, a reflection of this crooked system. See, in 81, we still hung. America's strange fruit, Billie Holiday turning in her grave. In the 21st century, our country still smudged with DNA from innocent lives. Gluttonous cops still drink the blood of our young like vampires. And cocky elitists still twist the system while America turns a blind eye to this genocide. From Rwanda to the bayou to our backyards. The only change is the weapon they formed against us. Ropes replaced by nightsticks and Glocks. You see, I'm trying to believe God when he says they won't prosper, but that feels so hard looking at the odds.